to the RunRX podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running.
Hello, and welcome to the RunRX podcast. I hope you're doing well. I'm here with Coach Valerie. And Coach, I want to talk today about what is a runner's body, because obviously you and I've talked about this. You get a lot of people saying you don't look like a runner. I don't look like a runner. Even when I was younger and a little fitter, because I'm a different body type, I don't look like those runners at the beginning of the pack. I'm not this very thin, wiry person. Is that a runner's body?
Well, you know, everything, like, this is the way I like to say it. And you definitely see a body shape that fits what the sport is. So that's why at the start of the marathon, you're going to see a certain, and especially crossing the finish line of a marathon. So increasing, like, if you're going to win a marathon, I do believe there's certain ways that you have to have your body, I guess, be to run, to be effective in your run, to be competitive. But the reality is there's not really a runner's body when everybody can run. Mm-hmm. Everybody can run. So everybody has a runner's body. So what limits us in running isn't our body shape or body size, it's how we run. And I think that's the first and foremost thing. Because I've heard it all my life. You don't look like a runner. Okay, well, what does a runner look like? You know,
that's true. I had a really good friend of mine that I ran one of my marathons with, and she had a big posterior. That was, that was her body type, right? Her husband, of course, loved it. Side note: when we were training for the marathon, he would be like, "Don't let her lose that."
Right.
I love that. Right.
Right.
She was wicked fast. And if you looked at her body type, you would think that she was too heavy to be that fast. And so people always underestimated how quick she was. But if you think about it, horses have big butts.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not, well, so do sprinters.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if you go at, like, again, if we're looking at, am I going to compete in the sport, is a very different body type than I want to run a marathon pain-free. I want to be a runner that goes out. Maybe I'm an age group finisher. Maybe I just want to run pain-free. I just want to run. It's not so much I need a certain body type to be able to run. But however, if I want to win the race, sure, there's going to be body adaptations because I'm now in a competitive place. The reality is you're carrying your body weight. So if I'm going to carry my body weight for hours, it's going to make sense to have less body weight. Right. Versus like a sprinter who goes for much less distance is going to carry more body weight. So then the body weight honestly, because running is a transfer of body weight. So it's not about runner type. It's about, I think, to me, it's about how competitive do I want to be in running? But the reality is, like you and I, even if I got really lean, I wouldn't win the marathon.
Right.
And not so much because of my runner's body, but it's because that's not where my talent is.
Yeah, true. That's or your mindset either, right? Because I think happens a lot.
Right. I mean, let's also be fair. We could all learn to play basketball, but could we be in the NBA or WNBA? No, I am 5'6", and they need to be there. Right. So I just want everyone to understand there's specificity in sport. There's there's certain things that really do help you in sport. And that is true also in running. So what the fun part, I think, and what we want to get across is that since everyone can run, you have a runner's body. And the reality is that once you learn how to run and you realize, if I'm just more efficient in my running, I'll be better at running. Then it's going to be, more or less about your body type, if you will.
Right. And not to focus so much on, again, it's your technique. It's the time you spend on the ground. It's not, like whether you have big hips or big shoulders, or big bosoms, it doesn't matter at the end of the day if your technique is correct.
Right. And then the best part is, and this is really where the conversation needs to be. So you yourself have to carry your body weight. right? And you already do that. So whether you're walking or whether you're running, it has to be, how do I do that? And if I can do that more efficiently, it's going to feel better. That you're right. So it's not really what is my body type, it's how am I moving my body. That's what's important. And then, to be honest, and you know this, you're going to run, if as a runner, most of us are going to feel better running if we're carrying less body mass or less body weight. So there's a reality to that. And a lot of people say to us, we get this a lot, well, I'm going to wait to start running until I lose weight, or I'm not really a runner, right? We hear this.
Yeah.
And you and I both say, when you start practicing how to run and how to run correctly, you'll develop a runner's body because you're doing the running movement. If I spend my practice time running correctly or doing the correct movement of running, think about how much better I'm going to develop that runner's body, if you will. Still keeping my nice big glutes.
Well, and you're absolutely right when you bring up the idea of like basketball or swimming or golf. Like, basketball is a great example because I can't get taller. It doesn't matter how much I love the sport. It doesn't matter how much I do it, but I can become a better basketball player. Sure. And I can still become fast and agile and really have the moves and be quick. I can be Steve Kerr. He was a little guy. I remember him as a Bulls fan. I couldn't believe he was that fast. So you can still love the sport. You can still be great in the sport for your age group and what you're doing, but you may never look like Eliud Kipchoge.
Which,
no matter what I do.
Exactly. And I honestly, that shouldn't be the ideal, because the elites are elite, and it's fun to watch and it's like inspiring, of course. But the reality is see what you can do. You do have a runner's body. You just want to put yourself in a better running position to use your body.
And that is a great way to end it on. But I do want to bring up one thing that we've been talking about, and I want you to give a little teaser to our audience. We've been talking about reworking some of the stuff on our YouTube channel. A lot of you follow us through the podcast. You also go to the YouTube channel, and we've had the 30-day reboot for, going on about a year now. You're going to rework that and do some more work on the YouTube channel. Is that right? Is that what you're
Absolutely.
thinking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we really want to do how to get, the reboot was a really fun way to give people, like, here's a way to balance in some skill, strength, and self-care to your existing running plan. If you're already running and you just want to see, like, how do I add these little extras that she keeps showing us? That was kind of what the reboot was about. What we want to do now is make something for people to be like, how do I get started with this running? How do I really kind of integrate the idea behind RunRX into, like, what is it and how could I just get started with it?
Fantastic. So if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, I hope you'll hit subscribe and give us a 5-star review. We love those. And we may start reading those. We get some great ones. I do take a look at that pretty often to try to fix our audio and some other things, but I also get some great commentary on what people want to talk about. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook, and as we do more, we'll open up those social media channels. And if you have a question for us that you want us to talk about on either the Wednesday Live that Valerie does on Instagram or on our podcast, email support@runrx.fit. That's support@runrx.fit. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the RunRX podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.